What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Welcome to the RNEWS morning show. And let's just jump into it. From r/politics, what we saw was terrifying. Former senior Trump official Miles Taylor endorses Joe Biden in damning video. Here's a YouTube link of the video if you'd like to skip the articles. youtube.be. Holy frick, I feel bad for Americans. It will most likely take a decade to recover from this mess he has gotten you into. I can't imagine anything other than changes to your political parties and electoral college. Presidents should not be chosen on how much money they can spend on advertising and rallying. Edit typo. We will never fully recover. Credibility has been lost forever. Did he say magical authority? Every time you think things can't get any crazier with Trump, something worse comes to light. I'm at the point that I wouldn't be surprised to be fighting a war on our own soil before the end of the year. I don't know how, but I know my capacity for disbelief has eroded to dust. Yep, he said Trump thinks he has magical authority. That orange donkey literally thinks he's some kind of wizard or something. Some very fine people kept calling him Grand Wizard and he decided to just run with it. I don't know if anyone has the link, but there's video of Trump sitting with a supporter who was having trouble with someone and Trump kept asking him, "Do you want me to ruin his career?" Some people seem better and better the closer you get to them. Trump just gets worse and worse. You just know he's a frothing man baby behind closed doors. You're watching the Reddit news show. From r/politics, Trump says he'll seek a third term because they spied on me. He also just said the following: "We have to win the election. We can't play games. Go out and vote. Do those beautiful absentee ballots. Or just make sure your vote gets counted. Make sure, because the only way we are going to lose this election is if the election is rigged. Remember that. It's the only way we are going to lose this election. So we have to be very careful." He is stating, out loud, that they should not accept the results as legitimate if he loses. This is tantamount to declaring civil war coup if Biden wins. This is extremely dangerous. Edit video of him speaking the very words. Twitter.com. He said the same thing in 2016. We just forgot about it after he actually won. Yup, that alone should have made him ineligible. Remember, Howard Dean dropped out in 2004 because he made a funny sound with his mouth. Mail-in voting is cheating. Make sure to get an absentee ballot. I still don't understand his logic on that. In order to vote by mail, my state requires me to fill out an absentee ballot registration. Vote for a Republican? Legitimate absentee vote. Vote for a Democrat? Illegal fake mail-in ballot. Hope that clears up the difference. And there it is, the planting of his little demon seed in the minds of his followers. He's trying to get the news to report on him instead of the Democratic convention. You're watching the Reddit news show. From r/World News, Jacinda Ardern hits back at Trump. Anyone who was following outbreaks around the world would quite easily see New Zealand's 9 new cases yesterday didn't compare to the tens of thousands in the United States. Trump at the rally. They beat it, they beat. It was like front page news. They beat it because they wanted to show me something. What? They beat the coronavirus because they wanted to show Trump something? Does he just utter random strings of words now? What a frickin' narcissistic shit stain. Not killing your own citizens deliberately to stick it to the conservatives. Now. Cat. Trump said, "It's terrible. We don't want that." Yes, it's pretty obvious to all that he doesn't want anything like New Zealand has. That's why he's allowed COVID-19 to run rampant through the US. Yeah, who wants 9 new cases when you can have 50,000? Let me guess Trump's response: nasty woman. At this point that's a badge of honor. She's a bigly ugly woman. Did you hear this? A lot of people are saying this. She's not a porn star. Not a mail order bride. Not USPS. So sad. Not my daughter. Not a child. So I wouldn't bang her. Kinda wish she didn't respond. It makes it look like Trump's comments are worth listening to. You're watching the Reddit news show. From r/News, U.S. states seek $2.2 trillion from OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma, filings. The company and family have denied the allegations and pledged to help combat the opioid epidemic, including by providing addiction treatment, drugs and overdose reversal medications under development. We're sorry. Were those drugs we sold you too drug for you? Hereby these new drugs that will undrug you from the drugs that you took that were too drug. It's worse actually. Oh, were those drugs that we pushed onto you too drug for you? Even though we claimed they weren't too drug. Well, I guess you're just a drug person. Because our drug isn't too drug. But since we're so nice, we'll sell you a drug that will undrug you when you decide to take too much of our totally not too drug. Yo dog, we heard you like drugs. Did you put drugs in my drugs? Nor these drugs undo those drugs. When I do get the new drugs to fix me from the other drugs, which get me off the original drug, the gorilla simply freeze to death. For those like me who didn't know the reference, www.youtube.com. Didn't the Sackler family already take all the cash out of the company? Let's hope they nail those frickers to the wall. Let's hope they nail those frickers to the wall. They would be the first rich family to have that happen to them. They could each go live in a trailer park full of OxyContin addicts. You're watching the Reddit news show. From r/World News. Belarus president sends SOS to Putin, tells protesters, "You'll have to kill me to get new elections." Very poor choice of words. Crowd, your proposal is acceptable. Bold move telling the protesters that the only way to get what they want is his death. He wants the situation to escalate and for the protests to be delegitimized as an attempted assassination so he can justify getting direct military aid from Putin. It's what he would have wanted. The genie does as you wish. I imagine Trump is going to say the same thing soon. The thing is, you can be a perfectly non-violent person and someone who doesn't wish death on others, and still understand how astronomically better the world would be if someone were no longer here. Apparently he doesn't remember the French Revolution. That's right, antagonize your own PPL as a challenge. I'm sure they will back down now. The world is different now. The power discrepancy between those in power and the people is so huge it's often difficult to even wrap your head around. Not at all true. The people could easily overthrow any tyrant in power with sheer numbers alone. And if not, what are they gonna do? Rule over a pile of corpses? That's what they're doing Syria. Protesters, okay, if that is what you really want. Ukraine 2.0, but Russia is slightly less incompetent this time. You're watching the Reddit news show. From r/World News. Tons of dead fish cleaned from French river after Nestlé spill, a spectacle of desolation. Rotten is a good documentary series on Netflix, and the episode with water and the business of selling bottled water discuss Nestlé's practice as it relates to Flint, Me, and other areas. What is shocking to me is how they put on this face of caring deeply for the environment. But in actuality, their practice does nothing good for anyone but Nestlé and shareholders. Also, the CEO of Nestlé is on record stating that water is not a human right. Frick Nestlé. Here you go my guy, frick Nestlé. This is a big deal only because it happened in France. If this happened in Malawi, and it happens in places like that all the time, it would have been a spectacle of just another Tuesday. Now get back to work. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNews show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNews show, and I'll see you tomorrow.